Dear students of the International Hotel Management School, good evening. I'm speaking to you here from home, and I want to wish you all the best health. As you might have heard, school is closed until the 6th of April, up until and including the 6th of April. And if you've followed the news, you might have seen that schools are preparing to prepare for online education. So have we in the last couple of days, and all the teachers have been very busy in trying to see how we can continue your programs. And we found a solution for that, we think. I do need to ask you, in the last couple of days, many people have worked really, really hard, something that we would normally do in a much longer time. Therefore, I ask for your for your patience as well. A lot of people have worked really hard on this, but it's not as easy as you might think for all of us to start education from an outside location. This could be a real problem, and we want to prevent all the consequences that this problem might have. Not being open for 3 weeks and possibly longer, because we don't know if in 3 weeks on the 6th of April everything's going to continue. If it's business as usual, it could be that this period will be extended, maybe by 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, who knows, it might even be longer. It could be that quite for 6 or more weeks, we're not going to be able to see you in school. Therefore, it's key that we keep on going and that we continue the program. Problems that might occur if we do not do this might be people not being able to finish year 1 properly, people not being able to finish year 2 properly, people not being able to do their exams, year 4 students and year 3 students not being able to finish their traineeships, year 4 students not being able to graduate on time. We want to prevent all these consequences, and we're doing our utmost best to prevent this. But we need you on board as well. We need to get on with the program. If we can't do it face to face, we need to do this online. And therefore, we're going to go for this, and we're going to need your help and your perseverance, and also that perseverance of your parents as well. Today, I want to explain you something is how we're going to do this. We found a solution in a program which is called Microsoft Teams. And Microsoft Teams is part of the Office 365 program, which you already have. And I want to explain a little bit about that. Because as of next week, you will be receiving a schedule and we will be continuing our program according to schedule. We're not going to be seeing each other face to face. We're going to be seeing each other in virtual classrooms. On my screen, I can show you that I'm in the Office portal right now, and you're probably familiar with that as well. And in the Office portal, you can see your usual software, but also your recent documents. And in there, you can see here, there's a software program called Teams. If I open that, and let's just give that a second, Teams will open. This is the browser version of Teams. There's also an app to download on your mobile phones, either Apple or if you're on Android, you can download this from the Apple Store or the Play Store. If you're doing this on your computer, I recommend you to download the program, the desktop app for this. I'm now in the online version. When you do go in the online version, here below on the left hand side bottom, you can see one of these squares with an arrow facing the bottom. That's where you can download the app. It works a lot better than the online app. So I really would like to ask you to download this app. If you do not have access to a computer, please note the email that you received from Ms. van der Zwan. Ms. van der Zwan sent you an email in which she informed you that if you would like to borrow a laptop, we can organize this. She said you have to contact Ms. Schuurman for this. Please I would like to refer to the email that she sent you a couple of days ago. If you don't have access to a computer, then please contact her. If you do not have access to internet, then we need to talk to you as well. We might be able to arrange something for you so you can work at school. So in Teams, it's an application where we can work online together, and there's a special Teams app for classrooms. Now, we've made classrooms for every single class in the school, and if you look at all my teams, I've got a lot of them because I'm part of every single class team that we have in the school. But in the last few days, we made these teams and we've started to add the students. Now, you should probably be part of one class team. So when you go into Teams, you probably just see one or maybe two of these icons. If you see two, it probably is because you're part of a lesson that is broader than a class. Meaning, let's say you have a choice module where different classes come together. You might have Dutch Advanced where you come in from the A and the B class. You might have Dutch Beginners where you sit together with the A and the B class. Then that classes cannot be found in that class, but there's a separate team which you will be invited for. For example, let's say here IS1, lesson groups, Dutch Advanced, Dutch Beginners, and Numeracy. So if you're part of a class that's broader than just your class, and when you sit in with different people from different classes, that's where that will be. When you are in this screen, you also see a question mark here at the bottom. That's a help desk. In that, you'll find tutorials of how you can use Teams. Of course, we're going to give you lots of things as well, but we also like to ask you, get yourself familiar with this program. I would have loved to have seen you all face to face, being able to answer all your questions, but unfortunately we can't do this. We need to do this from online, but I also ask you, get familiar with this program because next week we're starting with this, and like I said before, it's key to get on board now to prevent you from losing any time. I'd like to go through how this whole Teams is set up and how it works. So basically tell you the basics of Microsoft Teams. So for example, if I go to the team HOI1A, if I open that, then when I get into the app, then I see this general channel. And I'm just going to go over to my desktop app because I think that just works better. Like I said, I would recommend you to use that as well. Sometimes it could be when you're in a video chat that video just works a lot better in the app that's on your desktop instead of the online one. So I've got the desktop app version here. So for example, let's say I want to go into the I1A team. Let me just find it. Here it is. If I open that, then what you'll see is when you get in there, and you should already all be a member of a team, which is your class team. And if you're not, please let me know. Then what you'll see when you get into that team, then you see a general channel here at the top. And then underneath that, you see different channels. These are called channels in Teams. But basically what you should look at them as is that these are channels with subjects. And these are basically your virtual classrooms. As of next week, there will be a schedule. And in that schedule, you'll be scheduled, for example, at 10 o'clock in the morning on Monday morning for a subject, maybe kitchen theory. Then we expect you to be there at 10 o'clock, in the subject kitchen theory. So let's say I go into that subject, into this channel, then at 10 o'clock here, your teacher will be here and your classmates will be here. You'll have class, you might have an assignment there, and we're working on kitchen theory. Right after, you might have Dutch or entrepreneurship marketing. Then you go at the designated time into your class in marketing, and your teacher will be there. I'd like to show you how this works from the perspective as a student. I'm going to go into this mock team, which we've made, where a lot of the teachers have been testing in the last few days. So this mock team, I've got a general channel here as well, and an English channel and a French channel. And if I go in here, first of all, in the general channel, I have several tabs here. This is the posts tab, where I can see, let's look at it as a chat group that you might be having in WhatsApp as well, where you can speak to your fellow students, but also to your teacher. Then over here, there's a files tab, and my settings are in Dutch now, but you can set this as to have it in English. This is where your teachers could share files with you that have to do with those classes. Then there's a class notebook, which is a OneNote. I'm not too familiar with that, but a couple of my teachers are. They use it for International 2, for example, if you have that class. And then here, there's an assignment module. When I open that, I see in this class has 4 assignments. So this could happen to you as well. You have an online class, and your teacher might give you assignments from different subjects. You get all the different assignments. They're all in the general tab to do. So these assignments will have a name, a subject name, a starting time, an end time, etc. To give you an example, I put an assignment in here yesterday. This was assignment for a German class, and basically, it says what you have to do, and then there's a document to it. If you fill in that document, then you can hand this assignment in. So for example, I'm not sure what it says in here. I think it's just a blank document for to have it as an example. But we could ask you to write a summary. We could ask you 3 questions. We could ask you to write a letter. It could be several things that you could have depending on the subject. Once you've done that, then you're in OneDrive now. So you don't need to actually physically save this. Whenever you write something here, what's the question there? 3 plus 3 is 6. Write a letter. I'm writing a letter and a different question. Yeah, it's all gibberish, but I just want to show you the works of this. So this could be anything that your teacher gives you. Also, the teacher could be involved in this because they could put comments in here, but also when they mark it, they could give you comments or feedback. Whenever I'm done with the document, I press close. And then I could hand in this assignment. If I want to add something else, because it doesn't necessarily have to have a document, you can have an assignment here, and then it could say hand in your work. There's a plus here, and then you can add your attachment. So let's say the assignment would be write a letter to your new employer. It could be, okay, I'm gonna write that letter, and I've stored it in my OneDrive. I'm gonna find it and attach it and hand it in. Now my folder is empty, but it could be that there's something in your folder. Once you've are done with your assignment, you press hand in. And when it's handed in, then you get one of these animations. But basically, this is like, if you would look at this, then you could traditionally look at this like a teacher prints out an assignment, gives it to you in class. You write the assignment with pen, you hand it in to the teacher, and the teacher marks it, and then you get it back. It works the same with this online tool. You get an assignment, but you get it online. You work on the assignment where you work on it online, or you type on it with a computer, or you upload a document. Then you hand it in. Then your teacher gets an announcement that it's handed in. Your teacher then marks it. And when he's marked it and has given the feedback, he returns it to you. So once the next thing after what happens after you handed this in is that you get your assignment returned. Then you have a tab here which has grades. This is in Dutch, but you can set this to English. And then you see in your class all the assignments that you've been given. You see the status of your assignments and what points you got for it. So it could happen that there's an assignment, for example, this one, it looks like I've handed it in, but it didn't score any points yet. So the teacher might not have marked it. There's an assignment here without points, etc. So there's a few assignments I haven't handed in yet. So you can always go back here to your assignments and see what you did and what you didn't do. So basically it's putting together your homework and the assignments that you need to do. Right, so if you look at this class, then this is the class environment teams as a general tab, and then the subjects. Basically, as of next week, you have a schedule, and at the designated time, you go to your subject. Like you would go to a normal classroom, now you go to a virtual classroom, and you go to the channel German, English, French, or whatever subject you might have in your schedule. Now I want to go to this environment from a teacher's point of view to show you what these classes could be like. And a lot of my teachers have found different, have different ideas of how they're going to do this. But I just want to show you what this could be like as it's sometimes close to a traditional class that you're used to. Then I need to find the right environment. I have an environment here where I'm a teacher. So now I'm in this classroom as a teacher. And let's say I'm the teacher RDM. And let's say we have class at 10 o'clock in the morning on Monday. Then I would be here at 10 o'clock on Monday. I could start a chat with you here. So you see that chat coming in here and you guys could answer. Also, what I could do is use add mentions. And add mentions are when you use that in a sentence. So let's say I want to add mention Mr. de Vries. If I do this, then Mr. de Vries will get a notification that there's a post that I want to let him read in channels. Also, I could mention this whole group. This group is called Oefenomgeving, but when you get into your group, you're called at Team I1A, at Team I1B. This one is called Oefenomgeving. If I spell that out, just oefen, then I get it. And then if I would post this message with something behind it, everyone in this group will get to know about it. That's how the lesson could start. Then the teacher also has this tool and you also have this tool to do this with each other, to start a video conference. So let's say I would give this the name RDM class, which is on 24/3/2019 I1A. Then I've got the name there, and then there's several options the teacher has. He could start the meeting right now, but he could also start planning it. If I started now, it's in this channel, and when the rest of the students come into this channel, they could join this meeting. If I want to plan it, then I could do it, let's say, a day in advance and say at 10 o'clock the next day, I have a meeting with my students. So let's say I would start this now. Then you would see my screen now, and my screen will turn black now because I'm actually taping myself while I'm shooting this video. So my camera can't tape me while I'm doing this video chat right now. But if you guys are all in here, and I can see who's in there now, just me, If you guys have a class, then you can see more persons in this black screen that you see here now. You would normally see 6 people in this screen, and it's basically the 6 people that are talking at the moment. Once someone is quiet and another person is speaking, that person will go into the conversation. In the middle here, I have several options. First of all, I have a chat window here, and the chat window opens here, and I could chat with you while we have a video meeting, but you guys could chat to the teacher as well. The teacher could also share things with you, and it's right in the middle. He could share his desktop with you, basically meaning anything he does on the screen, you guys would be able to see. So he could open a PowerPoint, he can open a Word document, he could open his YouTube channel, whatever, and you would be able to show that, see that. So you could do that. But also, he could present to you using a PowerPoint. And that's something that happens in a traditional class. You come into class, first 20 minutes, you get presented a PowerPoint by the teacher. And this is just an example PowerPoint. This is from the open day. But I just want to show you that, if you would have me in class, I could think, okay, I'm going to start with a presentation about the new subject that we're doing. And I could control this PowerPoint, and you guys would be seeing this in full screen on your screen at home, and you would hear me talking through the PowerPoint. Very similar to what would happen in a traditional classroom where you would be sitting and I would be doing the PowerPoint on the screen, the digital screen in the classroom. I could also have a chat here, which you see here now. So I could ask you any questions, and then people could ask me questions. You see it posted here while I'm doing the presentation. I don't know what the teachers are going to do. It could be, when we're in there with 20 people, if every person's going to talk at the same time, it's going to be a mess. We won't be able to understand each other. So I could understand that the teacher says, okay, if you have any questions, ask them in the chat while I'm presenting. Then I can see them. I can actually immediately react to them. I could also say, okay, this person asked me a question, and then I allow that person to open the mic. So I could say, Jeremy, please ask the question, open your mic, ask the question so the rest can hear as well, and I could answer it. On the other hand, you could type the question here and I could answer it as well. So it's very interactive what we're doing. We're there together. We're not physically together in one room, but we're together like we usually are. With this option as well, instead of just doing a presentation, we could share documents with you, Excel documents, Word documents, etc. I'm going to stop the presentation now. So just imagine we would have the presentation, and then afterwards I would give you an assignment. So we're back in the group chat, and so I could say you had the presentation. So I'm sending you this message now. You could then go to the general channel and go to your assignments, which are here. And I'm here as a teacher now, so I can see the assignments here. It's going to come up in a second. So let's say I want to look at this assignment, then I could start doing that. And this is how the students would view this. So, for example, this is a Dutch example, but this is an assignment. It has a PowerPoint and different online Word files. But when you would hand this in, you might have to upload something. So this, and while you're doing this, you could always go back to the RDM channel and say, for example, you have a question, So if you type something here, the teacher would be able to see that, especially if you use an @mention. So let's say the RDM teacher is Miss van Reewijk. Then you could @mention here. I have a question test. Yeah, she will get this notification now, but it's just a test. Right, so a recap. Basically, Teams is the item that we're using to Teams is the application that we use to deliver you online lessons. I'm about to close off, and I want to say a few things before I do. As of next week, Tuesday, we're going to start these classes. We have asked a lot from our teachers. From one day to the other, they had to change completely. Something they might have thought was not going to happen in the next 10 years, from physical education, sitting with each other in the classroom, going to online education. And it's not as easy as everyone might think. One teacher might think it's going to be really easy. The other one might think it's a bit more difficult, but they're all on board and they're all trying. And we need your help to get all of us through this. We need to learn from each other, but we also need your patience. This might not be perfect from day one. I think what we put out here is good, but it might not be perfect from day one. Together with you, we need to make it perfect. We might need this in the next 3 weeks. We might need this in the next 6 weeks. We might need this longer. We want to prevent you from losing any time or any other consequences. We want to continue this program as normal in the time that we intended to finish it in. That's why we need you on board. We already have the teachers on board, and we need your parents on board. I'm counting on you. I wish you all success. I wish you health to you and your family. And I hope we're all going to get out a lot stronger from this. Thank you very much.